And welcome back. Our first conversation this morning is with the chairperson of the Belmopan chapter of Alzheimer's. I hope I got that correct.
Yeah.
All right. We are joined by Ms. Joanne Babb, and we're discussing dementia. Good morning, Ms. Babb.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's begin by defining, for the benefit of our viewers, what dementia is.
Thank you, and thank you so much for having me here. Dementia is an umbrella term to have all the diseases that lead to some kind of cognitive impairment. And so diseases like Alzheimer's disease, Lewy body dementia, frontotemporal dementia, and vascular dementia all lead to some kind of cognitive decline in human beings. Mm-hmm. And so the big confusion is always, is dementia the same as Alzheimer's? And the reason for that is that Alzheimer's is the most frequently occurring form of dementia, and that's why you have that sort of confusion. But dementia is that umbrella term.
Yeah. I think that in Belize, and it is, International Alzheimer's Awareness Month.
It is.
And so I think for our population, that is a relatively young population, we definitely have more younger persons. Mm-hmm. Perhaps what would be the appropriate way that we would define Alzheimer's versus dementia?
Thanks. Alzheimer's really is a disease of the brain. Mm-hmm. And if we were to go into the brain, what we would see is some neurofibrillary plaque, amyloid plaque, and neurofibrillary tangles. So in other words, some plaque growing and some tangles, and that really is disrupting our ability to think. And so at that level is where we will know what is happening in the brain. It's very different from what is happening in frontotemporal or Lewy bodies. However, the behavior is what we're going to see, things like forgetfulness, which is what we see most often, but other things like problems with language, problems with calculating, problems with doing tasks that they had been so used to doing, baking a cake, driving a car. Mm-hmm. And these are the things the symptoms that disrupt daily life that cause us to have a challenge.
This is usually, dementia or Alzheimer's are usually seen as issues that affect the older population.
Yes.
Right? Is that always the case, that it comes with aging? So
Alzheimer's, certainly one of the risk factors is aging, but we can see that some of these diseases like frontotemporal will affect people in their 50s. So somebody in their 50s who may be an accountant suddenly is unable to calculate, has disturbing behavior. And we do also have early onset Alzheimer's disease, as well as children's Alzheimer's. So in very young ages, yes, you can see it, small percentages of the population, but because it's a disease of the aging, young people tend to think, well, I don't need to know anything about that. And it's really very important that the whole society knows about and is aware of Alzheimer's disease and other forms of dementia, because those people are around you. They're loved ones, they're grandmothers, grandfathers, people you're working in offices with, and you need to know when what we are seeing is not normal, because it's not a normal part of aging. And so we need to make sure that you get an early diagnosis to rule out, what it could be or not.
How do you go about even looking for signs or symptoms of Alzheimer's and dementia?
Well, the Alzheimer's Disease International has put out what they call these 10 warning signs. And so that's sort of the things that you look for. Now, it's not that you see one sign and you think, oh my God, I have Alzheimer's disease or some of the other form of dementia. But it's when you see them in combination. And so those things are memory loss, of course, disorientation of place and time, problems tracking things, problems doing familiar tasks, withdrawal from society. So it's a combination of those things. And I don't know if you've had any of your loved ones or people around you begin to demonstrate these signs of dementia. Two things happen. One, they discount it. Oh, what is your name again, darling? Or you discount it because you know that person is so much more capable. And there's a little time lapse then between observing these warning signs and actually getting a diagnosis.
What is Belize doing to raise awareness?
So Belize in, I would say, mid-2014, 15, 16, had a Belize Alzheimer's Association, which is no longer very active. When I came to Belize in 2019, because of the work that I had been doing in Trinidad and Tobago with the Alzheimer's Association of Trinidad and Tobago, I decided I wanted to do that work here. And so I partnered in my church as part of the outreach, the St. Anne's Anglican Church in Belmopan, and the National Council of Aging. And so together for the last 5 years, we have had annual events, we've had opportunities to speak. We've had an annual seminar. Next year will be our 5th seminar. We've had a run, which last week we held. Just activities to raise that awareness. We have a monthly online meeting so that people can come share their experiences. And so it's just keeping that momentum going and sharing the word about what is this about.
Do you find that a lot of Belizeans are